What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the TLC podcast, where we sit down with elite athletes and professionals to break down the journey, the mindset, and what it really takes to compete at the highest level. As we always say here, when you train your mind, you change your game. Before we get started, if you enjoyed today's episode, make sure you hit that like button and the subscribe button down below. Show us support for the channel. It truly helps the channel grow. Also, don't forget to follow us on our socials at the TLC podcast to stay up to date on upcoming guests and highlights. Now let's get into today's episode. Joining us today is an old friend of mine. He is an international badminton umpire who has spent years officiating at both the national and global level, playing a key role in maintaining fairness and control in some of the sport's biggest matches. From starting out in local tournaments to representing the United States on the world stage, he has been part of the growth of officiating in badminton while also contributing behind the scenes as a tournament organizer. With experience at prestigious events like the recent All England, he brings a unique perspective on the game that players and fans rarely get to hear. Welcome to the podcast, Kevin Banh.
Thank you for having me, Tony.
Of course. It's good to have you on and good to catch up too, because we haven't spoken in a long time, right?
Yeah. It's been a really long time.
Yeah, definitely. Because for the people that don't know, Kevin actually started out umpiring for USA Badminton, and that's how we met in all the junior tournaments that we played at. So it's always a good time to see Kevin and just catch up.
Yeah. I've known you since you were little kid and everything, and now obviously you're an adult now. So glad to be on your podcast.
Yeah, for sure. Awesome. And talking about you umpiring at USA Badminton, because that's where you started, right? How did you get into umpiring in the beginning?
So actually, I started, I was going to be going to university at San Jose State. And then they had a local junior tournament. I think it was Bay Area Junior Open. If you remember all those Bay Area Opens back then, really popular.
Yeah.
So they needed help. I just started scorekeeping there and everything. And I was all my friends that joined me. And then afterwards, they asked me, oh, do you want to try to continue? And then they invited me because Junior Nationals that year was also in the Bay Area. It was at Bay Badminton Center. So, they asked me if I wanted to try to continue. And I said, yes, why not? And then from there, that's where it started.
Dang, that's crazy because that's a long time ago, right?
Yeah,
I remember when they used to hold the Junior Nationals at BBC and also Bintang. It's now they're at the professional stadium. It's really well done. They even sometimes has what's it called? Live playbacks and stuff like that. But back then it was in those clubs, right?
Yeah. Now it's in big convention centers around the US and everything. So it's gone huge.
Yeah, definitely. And it's great to see that growth in the US. But, eventually you grew out of that, right? Grew out of umpiring at USA Badminton. You started umpiring internationally across Pan Am regions and then now in the global level for BWF. So at what point did you realize you wanted to take it seriously?
I guess just after doing a lot of tournaments, I wanted to see how far I could go. And then I was lucky, I had good mentors and everything. So Chris Lawrence, Charlotte, they were BWF referees already. And then so, that helped me have a chance to go try international. And then I did the US Open in 2013, got to experience that. And I was let's see how far I could take this. And then it just took off from there.
Yeah, definitely. And I was so excited to have you on because I see all the different posts that you do on social media on the unique experiences that you get traveling around the world as an umpire. So, it's absolutely amazing what you've been able to achieve, right?
Yeah.
And I do wonder though, what is the biggest difference between being a local umpire or a national umpire for the country compared to officiating at the international level?
It's really different. You experience different cultures, you go to Europe, and you go to Asia, and everyone has their own unique umpiring style. And then for the most part in the US, junior tournaments is a lot different, right? And then you go into international, the pressure's on. Now everything is recorded. So even adds even more pressure because it's you mess up, then the whole world will see. And it's just so different.
Yeah, definitely. I know what you're saying. And, talking about that transition, right, from USA Badminton to BWF international umpiring. For the people that don't know, Kevin umpired actually a lot of my games, right, in the junior years. And fun fact is that Kevin is the only umpire to give me a red card, my only red card in my career. Do you remember this, Kevin?
Of course. Yeah. Of course I remember. It was at Bintang and everything. Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, it was Junior Nationals.
Okay.
Junior Nationals.
Okay.
Yeah. And I'm curious, is that the only red card you've given out?
It was actually the only red card for a while. But then this year I gave out already some red cards at some international tournaments as well. So now I'm not the only one.
But I was the only one domestic, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Awesome. And that's a privilege now to be, right? have the only red card in the country. But at the time, it was intense, that match, right? Do you
Yeah,
remember
yeah.
what we were arguing about?
Yeah, I kind of remember. It was like end of the third game almost, and then you wanted the floor to be mopped, but I didn't see
Yeah,
that there was much. And obviously, your mom was pushing you to get me to mop the floor.
yeah,
And then I was like, I don't see anything, and it was like 17 or something like that, you know. And then I
yeah,
was like, I don't see anything, and try to push you to play, but your mom was like, no, 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 you know, get the court mopped, da 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 da, and yeah.
yeah. Yeah. You have really good memory, Kevin. That's basically what happened. But at the time, the score was 19-18. So I was playing Clayton, right? And third game, guys, this is third game. And Clayton's leading 19-18. And what happened was obviously, as a player, we need to stall, we need to change up the rhythm. And that's
Yeah.
exactly what was happening, which is what we were trying to do, like try to change up the rhythm, because obviously Clayton was having some momentum. And one of the things we do is, get the floor mob or tie your shoes, whatever, right? And at the time, from my perspective, there were some drops of sweat, because obviously we played third game, it's everybody's sweating.
Yeah.
There's some drops of sweat. It's like a perfect opportunity to mop the floor, get some time to take a break, right? And that's what we were requesting for. But Kevin, from his perspective, was like, this guy's stalling, right?
Yeah.
Like, he needs to hurry up.
Yeah.
So I understand, from an umpire's point of view, that's what you were thinking. And so Kevin, after a few back and forth, Kevin gave me a yellow card, right? And then at that point, we were just going back and forth, right? And my mom, who was my coach, she went to the referee desk to go get the referee at that point, right? To like come and fix this, whatever is happening. And when she got up to leave, after like a few minutes, Kevin gave me a red card. Right? And then at that point, that means Clayton got a point. So it was 20-18 in the third game. And like, I couldn't believe it. I was like, how can you do this to me, Kevin? And then, but the good thing is I ended up winning the match, like 22-20. So
you came back.
yeah. But it was a huge thanks to Kevin too, because it really pissed me off that he gave me a red card. Like, I don't know if you remember, like I exploded. I was so mad.
Yeah, I do remember.
Yeah. But it's good times now, looking back at it.
Definitely.
Yeah. But yeah, that was a really intense moment for sure. But that does lead me to like a next question, right? Which is, there's many strategies, right, that players use on the court to kind of like, I guess, go against umpires or whatever it might be. And one of them is like calling the referee over, right? And from our perspective, our strategy is like by calling the referee over, like that will put pressure on the umpire to make better calls, you can say, right?
Yeah.
Do you think as an umpire, like from your perspective, does that actually put pressure on you, having the referee watching?
I think no, because actually nowadays, a lot of time, the referee is already, because at the international level, there's a lot less courts and there's 2 or 3 referees. And some of them are already like focusing on your one court anyways. So actually, like some referees will notice the players kind of, get out of hand a bit. They'll actually already, nowadays, they're allowed to just walk on. And usually when they walk on, they're good at calming down the situations right away. And then we could just resume again. So I think it's actually more helpful to us that, okay, they have our backs and then they could calm the situation down and then we just get going again after that. So
I see. Yeah, because usually the referee is there to kind of de-escalate the situation, right? And I feel like that is required most of the time, especially when things get heated, because obviously during competition, emotions are high, right?
Yeah, definitely.
But what do you think is like the worst argument that you had with a player on the court?
Worst argument I had probably at a player argue about changing the shuttle, and it just went back and forth for a couple minutes. And then obviously the referee had to come on and everything. And in the end, he kind of got what he wanted. He scored like the next 4 to 5 points after like 3 or 4 minutes of, trying to, hey, I want to change the shuttle. And I'm like, no, it's my decision. And then, just kept going back and forth for a while on that. Yeah.
I see. You didn't give him a yellow card?
I did card them. And then eventually the referee came on and just like, this is the umpire's decision. Still, he tried to go at it for a while. And then he broke the momentum and then scored the next 4 or 5 points. Yeah. So.
So it worked out.
Yeah. It definitely worked out.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things that we're taught is like, even if the umpire denies it, just ask, because you get like the extra 3-4 seconds of break anyway.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So I understand what you're saying. And, obviously we have these like calls, right? And some calls are subjective, obviously, because, it's human based, right? But umpires obviously try to stay neutral at all times. But because you guys are human as well, is it actually possible to be completely unbiased?
I think, we try to be unbiased. The most difficult thing that people have to realize is we have 1 second or so to make a call. like you see it, and then it's just like you have to make a decision right away. If you take 5 or 6 seconds, then the player is gonna be like, "Are you sure that's what you saw?" But I
Yeah.
think nowadays, with the service judge there and more allowed to be more involved, now you have a second set of eyes, and then they should be able to like come over and be like, "Okay, this is what I saw. I think what you saw was like you were imagining it, because sometimes that happens. Like you think you saw they touch, on the
Yeah.
corner of your eye. You heard something, and then it clipped, and the shuttle changes directions, and you're like, okay, I'm pretty sure. And then or it's like on the other side where you can't see towards the service judge, and they have a better view, and that's usually where they can come in and be like, hey, this is what I saw, and hopefully you get the call right. Because like I said, now everything is seen by the whole world, so
Yeah.
we want to be as correct as possible. We don't want to be the
Hmm.
one who's like famous on Instagram, TikTok, right? Like we don't want
Yeah.
to be. So that's why I think like we're doing our best to be unbiased and make the correct calls, because otherwise the whole world is against you. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I think because especially now with the whole world watching, right? Like Kevin
Yeah.
said, it's a lot of pressure to make the right calls. I think most umpires would do their best to do that, especially on the world stage, right? Especially now that
Oh,
you're
yeah, yeah.
on,
Mhm.
BWF, in BWF tournaments, everyone's watching, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah,
people,
exactly.
these players have fans and they're
Yeah, yeah.
emotional.
Yes, yes. Yeah, they
Yeah.
could go crazy sometimes.
Yeah. I mean, has the fans ever like went against your call, like was pissed about the call that you made?
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. A couple times, that they're just not happy, and that's how it is. But, we kind of have to learn to like live with it and, just move on from it. Because if you like keep thinking about it, that's just gonna affect how you're gonna like umpire, right? You're gonna always gonna be in the back of your mind. Like you kind of just gotta forget
Yeah.
about it. Maybe review the situation, watch the video. Hey, was what I saw correct? But afterwards, you just learn from it and move on. So,
Yeah, definitely, definitely. And mistakes are inevitable, right? Like it
yeah,
happens for sure.
yeah.
So are there moments where you made a mistake, but and you realize, oh shoot, like I ended up giving the other person a point, like even though like maybe I made a call wrong, right?
Mhm.
Would you later on like seek to get a point to like help the other person kind of balance it out?
I wouldn't like seek a way to like balance it out. Yeah, but it's definitely happened. Like I remember one of my first international tournaments. The player hit the shot and then got hit in the face by her partner's racket. And at
Oh
that
wow.
time, I was like, I put the score in, and I thought the other side won the point. But at that time, I was worried like they were injured. They got hit in the face by a racket. And
Hmm.
then so the whole time, there were doctor came on, checked, everything's okay, and then everything resumed. I was like, this side won the point, and this other side was like, no, we won the point. But obviously, after a couple minutes, I do not remember what happened in the rally. But because I put the score in
Yeah.
as the other side won the point, I was really confident that they won the point, and my service just wasn't sure at the
Mm.
time. So we played it as is, and I didn't realize till like a lot later. We watched the video, and I was like, oh shoot, I messed up, kind of thing. Like, oh, they
Mhm.
did win the point. Yeah, so it happens. It happens.
Wow. Like, what do you do in that situation though? That must feel like pretty bad at the
Yeah,
end,
yeah.
right? Like
It's
you
tough.
realize you
Yeah, like
messed
I
up.
said, like at that time I didn't know. Like I didn't know until like way after I reviewed the video and everything. But on court, like I have to stick with my call. I was really confident that the
Yeah.
other side won the point, because we're taught to, when a situation occurs, is to write the score, input the score right away, right? Just in case something like
Right.
this happens. Then you're like, oh, okay, like the score's there and we have to go by what's there. And unfortunately, like I said, my service judge didn't remember what happened, and I didn't recall what happened at the time. So the other side just wasn't happy with it, but there's nothing we can do. So,
Yeah, definitely. I mean, in the end, like umpires are humans too, right? And things
yeah.
like this happen. And you talk about reviewing right after the game. Is that something that like all umpires are like required to do? Like you must review your games, see if you made any mistakes, what you guys can.
So, I mean, we're not required to review, but a lot of times, with your service judge there, we'll talk to each other and be like, oh, what do you think? Sometimes we go to big tournaments and there'll be like an assessor, and then we kind of get feedback from them or feedback from the referee, and then we talk it out and see like what can be improved on and whatnot. We'll have like workshops throughout the
Mm,
year, to try to get consistency in the sport and everything. So yeah.
I see. Yeah, because obviously, like even when it comes to players or umpires, I feel like it's always good to just review on what
hmm
happened, right?
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
there's always things to improve on.
yeah.
And obviously now that you're on the world stage, so many things happen, right?
Hmm.
Player, there's so many different techniques that players try to use or strategies to use
Yeah.
to
Hmm.
try to go around the umpire, things like that. So, what is the most common thing players try to get away with that you always notice?
Nowadays, players are really starting to take their time, especially in like singles. They'll start to dive a lot more when I feel like it's not needed. To get those extra seconds
Mm.
of break and everything. Yeah, and then they'll change the shuttle, and then they'll walk really slow towards changing the shuttle and everything. So yeah, they're really trying to find times to like take a breather more and everything nowadays. So
Yeah, definitely. And that's a new one for me, the diving one. I guess when you dive, you gotta mop the floor,
yeah, yeah,
right?
exactly. So, players will like, be really far away and then they'll attempt a dive that is like really, really no chance. And then
Hmm.
they'll lay on the ground for a while and take their time to get up and everything. And yeah.
Yeah, in those situations, there's nothing you can do really because you can't really tell them to not mop the floor or things like
Yeah,
that.
exactly, exactly. And
Yeah.
you can't say, oh yeah, it's like less than 1% chance that you're gonna get the shot, but you can't be like, hey, you can't dive for it, right? So
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
definitely. Yeah, I think players are very sneaky with these things too, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, in your case, being on the world stage, what has been the most amazing experience, traveling and just being able to umpire some of the best players in the world?
Yeah, so it's been nice. I get to go around the world. I've been to like 24, 25 different countries now, you know, meet different people and everything, and then just watch some of the crazy badminton. I've been like, I think it was Suderman Cup I went to, and then it was like
Mm.
Japan was up 2-1 in the fourth match, right? They were at 20, match point 16, and then China came back to win. At that time, I heard like people were like selling their tickets. China wasn't going to make finals. Came back
Mhm.
down from 16-20 to win. Then
Wow.
yeah, and then in the fifth match, they completely destroyed the other side and made a huge comeback, and then they made it to finals from there. It was crazy. Japan was 1 point
Wow.
away, just 1 point away from winning that tie, but somehow 16-20, China came back. It was amazing. Just to be in like the
Wow.
atmosphere to watch that and everything was great. Yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing. Did you get good seats too, probably, right?
Yeah, yeah. Usually we get like a section, for the umpires to watch and everything, so it's really nice.
Awesome, awesome. I mean, that's amazing just to be able to see that in person, right? Up close
Yeah.
and just have the whole crowd in it too. Yeah, it must have been a crazy experience.
Yeah, especially since the tournament was in China, so everyone was like going crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Oh, so it's home crowd too.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. That's why a lot of people were like, China's not gonna make finals. I heard people were like trying to sell their tickets to finals once they were like, oh, I don't think we're gonna win. And then they made that crazy comeback and it was wild. Yeah.
Wow, wow. That's amazing. That's amazing. And talking about being on the BWF World Tour, right? You recently umpired one of the biggest tournaments,
Yeah.
the All England. What
Yeah.
was that experience like?
Yeah, it's great. The atmosphere was amazing. The hospitality was great as well. And it's nice because some of these bigger tournaments, there's so many of us. So it's a lot more relaxing. We don't do, I was doing like 3, 4 matches max at most. The whole week I did like 14 matches over 6 days. So it's really not that much. So we get some time to like go out. I've been into running lately. So when I had like one of the evening shifts, me and another umpire went for a jog along the canal because there's like canal from our hotel to the arena. So, we did a
Mhm.
little jog and everything and it was really nice.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, usually when I see umpires, they have a lot of matches, one after the other, one after the
Oh
other,
yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
So it must be nice to have a little break time.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's the nice thing about some of the bigger tournaments. There's a lot more of us, a lot less courts. And then it's just, yeah, we get some time to like go sightsee a bit and not just be stuck in a venue all day. So it gets nice. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And were you nervous going to that tournament though? Because obviously it's one of the biggest ones that you've done so far, right?
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I mean, a little bit nervous, but a little bit of, I'm kind of used to it now. Once you're just on TV all the time, you're kind of like more into the zone and you're just like, okay, this is nothing different. Everything is just another match for us. We just
Yeah.
got to make sure we're focused, of course, try not to make a mistake and everything. So,
Yeah, for sure, for sure. For you, it's second nature now,
yeah,
right? To
exactly. Yeah.
to be in that
Hmm.
seat, and I do wonder for like a BWF Umpire, right? Because that's like the highest level you can be at.
Yeah.
For you guys, what does a typical day look like for in a tournament?
So actually, it depends on tournaments. Let's say the first couple days will be really long. Luckily, like I said, All England had a lot of umpires. Things like people don't know. It's like, let's say some days, some tournaments start at like 8 a.m. If it starts at 9 a.m., we get that extra hour of sleep. We start at 8 a.m. We're waking up at like 5:36 because we have to share a room. So we're waking up really, really early. We got to take turns in the bathroom. Then we go eat breakfast. And then usually we stay like not so close to the venue either. So that's like 15, 20 minutes on the bus. We got to get to the arena early. We got to like make sure everything is right, like the net's the right height, everything's in the right position. The service device, we got to calibrate. And then, we kind of go through a little short meeting before. And then, then we prepare for a match. So our day starts really, really early. And some of these tournaments nowadays go quite late. So sometimes we're stuck there till like 10 p.m. or later, and we don't see the sun basically. Maybe just from the bus ride from the hotel to the venue. That'll be like
Yeah.
the only time we see the sun. That's it. Yeah. So the
Wow.
first couple of days get really tough. Maybe through the later rounds, if it starts a little later, we'll get a bit more time in the morning. But yeah, we're grinding a lot throughout the whole day. So
Yeah, definitely. It's quite intense. You guys had to share a room still, like with other umpires?
yeah, 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 yeah. I mean, luckily during COVID, everything was great, but nowadays we still have to share a room and everything. So, we gotta like organize, when are you waking up? When are you gonna use
Hmm.
the restroom and everything? So you gotta,
Wow.
yeah.
I mean, like I saw you post that you were like riding like business class on the airplane.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Is that
So I
paid
mean,
for or?
no, no, no. They fly us in economy, but in the US, like credit card turning is a big thing. So
Uh,
I turn a lot of points. I have like over 1 million miles still, and then I fly
wow.
business class myself. Upgrade myself once in a while. I tried first class, but usually we're in like economy. That's where I am most of the time. So luckily for me, I'm not that tall. I
Uh,
can't imagine like European umpires who are like over 6 feet. Like I can't.
yeah,
You're flying like 12 hours. Your legs are jammed up in the seat against you. Yeah.
definitely, definitely. And talking about like the All England, right? The one that you were recently at. Obviously, a lot of umpires are fans of the game, right? Fans of
Yeah.
the game, fans of the players. Do you guys have somebody that you're rooting for, like for the tournament?
Not really, because we kind of gotta stay unbiased. I just,
Right.
there's like I guess marquee matches, right? Two big name players. Obviously when they play, we have time off. I'll like go in the stands, I'll watch a bit of that match, see how that's going. Yeah, basically that's it. Like I'll check the paper. Okay, oh, like the two top seeds, are playing early, and then I'll watch it, see how that goes a bit, and then get back and then like get focused for like my next upcoming match kind of thing.
I see. But obviously, I think you guys can't like be cheering like on your downtime either, right?
Oh
Like
yeah,
if
no,
you're watching
definitely
a match.
not. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, I just enjoy, like the good rallies and stuff,
Hmm.
when it comes to the big marquee names and
Yeah.
see how that is. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. It would not look good if the
Yeah,
umpire is
yeah, yeah.
cheering after a match. No, that would be
Yeah.
bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I understand. And do you do this like full time now though, or do you have a side job?
I still have a side job, I don't do it full time. Maybe a year I'll do like 5 to 7 tournaments a year. So I'm on the road a bit. Sometimes it's just like I get back and there's no point in me unpacking because I'm on the road again. Or like
Mm.
sometimes it's hard. It's like, should I fix my sleep schedule? And then it's just like in 2 weeks I'm traveling again to back to the Asia time zone. So some nights, I get jet lagged and it's like it gets bad and then just like hard to fix it because it's just like then I gotta like revert back when I travel again and everything. So yeah.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. And obviously, like you travel so much, right?
Yeah.
During all these traveling, which country was your favorite to go to?
I think the most beautiful country for me is Switzerland by far. Like the Swiss Alps
Oh,
were just very magical. Like it felt like a magical like winter wonderland.
wow.
Switzerland is just super. It's more expensive than living in the Bay Area. It's crazy. Like a meal there is like almost 30 US dollars. Like a Big Mac alone is like $15, like just the sandwich, right? Not even the combo meal. Switzerland was just really beautiful. Like I definitely want to go
Mm.
back to Switzerland for sure.
I heard from players that like places like Switzerland, like some European countries, the food is not great. Is that true?
Well, I guess it's different. Like for me, because I'm Asian, I prefer to go to Asia and like
Uh-huh.
I could like buy a couple dollars street food and prefer the street food. But I mean, like there's some good food in Europe as well. But because I'm Asian, like after a while, like I want some like rice or something. So
Yeah.
it's a personal preference, right? Yeah. So that's why I
Yeah.
like to go to Asia a lot. Like sometimes I'll even skip breakfast because it's just like if there's like something nearby and it's just like $1, $2, like I'd rather just go out, eat $1, $2 breakfast, and then hop back to the hotel and get ready, kind of things.
Yeah. Yeah, I know what you mean. Get some like buns on the way.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
always good. Yeah.
yeah.
you talked about how sometimes it can get quite expensive, right? Your
Oh
expenses,
yeah.
things like that
Hmm.
on the road.
Yeah.
So how is the pay? Is the pay good for a BWF umpire to be able to support you through these?
Honestly, no, it's not. You're not getting paid much at all. So that's like one big misconception. Like
Mhm,
in a sense, like we're volunteering our time,
mhm.
right? That's what a
Still
lot of
at that
people.
level.
Yeah, yeah. A lot of us are volunteering our time, and that's a lot of things that people don't know. They think like, oh yeah, we're paid well or stuff like that. But I don't know. Like Victor Axelson went on a podcast with one of my friends, David, and he was telling about it, and it's just like, you know, it's we don't really get much at all out of this. So a lot of us are doing it for the passion of the sport.
So how are you guys getting paid? Is it like hourly or is it fixed?
It's fixed. It's fixed. It's not that much. Won't be enough to buy like a couple meals a day in Europe. That's about it. So it's not
Really?
much at all. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Not much at all.
Or
So actually, they're starting to be like semi-professional umpires and then professional umpires, and they're getting more pay. And obviously, they got to do more work. So obviously, BWF is trying to push to professionalize us, which is good for the sport and everything. But that's a slow process. There's not that much money in the sport and everything. So
yeah, they say that and then they sell out seats
yeah, yeah,
and they
yeah.
make
But
a lot of
part of
money.
it, it's like the host also pays for a lot of things. Like to rent out the arenas and everything, and that's
Hmm.
not cheap. Bringing in lighting and stuff. So yeah.
I see. What does professionalize mean?
Like you get like a salary for the year. You obviously have to do more tournaments. You have to like attend more like workshops and stuff like that. More meetings and stuff so that you're in a sense like you're more prepared and you're more seen at the bigger tournaments and stuff like that. So yeah.
Okay, yeah, I think that would be good actually, right? Like that's a good route to take for
Hmm.
umpires.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So they're starting to do that. Obviously, like I said, not so much money in badminton, but it's slowly growing. So hopefully, it gets to the point where everybody is being a professional, paid well, and going to all these tournaments and everything. So yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Because in the end, like passion is one thing, but you got to give people enough to live, right? And going back to you umpiring these matches, right? Because obviously you've umpired a lot of great matches and you've seen a lot of great matches. But what has been your favorite match that you have officiated?
So my favorite match is definitely Thomas Uber Cup. It was Kento Momota's. He made an announcement. It was his last tournament.
Mm,
I got to do his first match of the tournament, and just being able to like sit in the chair and just watching him like basically like during warm ups he was like taking in the moment. You could just see him like standing there. The crowd is like chanting his name, knowing it's his final tournament, and you could just tell like he's gonna miss this so much, and like he's just taking everything in. And I was like super super honored to be like a part of that last match, and I enjoyed it so much.
wow, that's a very special moment.
Yeah, yeah,
You know,
definitely.
yeah. And was everybody fighting over to get that match?
Yeah, so I mean, normally I think we're assigned to like a tie and everything, but luckily it's a team event, so you might not get it the first day, but obviously he's gonna play again, in the
Mm,
other round. So, and
mhm.
I was just lucky to be able to get that first one. Yeah.
Wow, yeah, that is truly special. And on the other side of the coin, right? What has been the most stressful match of your career?
I think some of the more difficult matches would be in Indonesia. The crowd is super passionate, and then it gets
Mm,
really, really loud in there. So sometimes it's like you're trying to call the players, but they can't hear you. Especially with like the microphones, they're directional, so they'll be pointed towards the crowd, so the crowd could hear, and not towards the court. So you could be calling like Tony, 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 like 10 times, and it's just like, are they ignoring me or they just can't hear me? Because
mhm,
Indonesia is amazing for badminton. It gets super,
mhm.
super loud from like the start of the tournament, like 9 a.m. on a Tuesday. Qualifying. There's still like 1,000 fans in the stadium already, and they're like
Wow.
all chanting like nonstop and everything, and it's great. But also, like I said, it's stressful for us because it's just like you're trying to call the player, they can't hear you or whatever, and it's just like so it makes umpiring even more difficult, right? Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I've never been to like an Indonesia event for badminton, but I've heard my mom talk about it because obviously she traveled there to play these
Hmm. Hmm.
tournaments before, and she mentioned that you can't hear anything because they're so loud, and
Yeah,
like, you
yeah,
can't hear
yeah.
the umpire, you can't hear anything. Everybody's just screaming.
Yeah, and I remember like I was service judge a match, and then the player was ready to serve. All of a sudden, the crowd erupted because like a great point on the next
Hmm.
court and everything. And then like the player like jumped, like they got startled. They were like, "Oh wait,
Ugh.
wait, wait!" Like, and then they like had to take a second to like recompose himself and like get ready to serve again. But
Mhm.
it's just that crazy there. And then like
Yeah.
I'm just talking to someone next to me, and then it gets so loud like they have to shout in my ear for me to hear them when we're sitting next to each other because it gets that loud. It's crazy.
Wow. Yeah, I mean that's what makes the sport more fun though, right? Like more
Hmm.
passionate fans and things like that. But
Yeah.
shout out to the Indonesian fans because they
Yeah,
really
yeah.
make it
It's
fun.
passionate. I love it there. I've been there like 3 times already. I love going back there.
Definitely, definitely. And talking about officiating tournaments, besides umpiring, you've also organized some tournaments, right? Especially
Yeah.
the US Open, which you've done a couple times now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So how difficult is it to organize a tournament of that size?
It's really difficult because there's like so many different moving parts, so many shareholders, so many other things to worry about, like things like, okay, which hotels are players staying at, transportation, how do we pick them up from the airport, especially like, if they're flying into LAX, like you were talking about earlier, like living in LA traffic is crazy, right? So like from LAX to, the US Open and TSU Fullerton, it's like at least an hour. Even then, it's like players arriving at different terminals, like you got to collect them. Getting out of the airport itself is going to be an hour, and there's like things like that. Taking care of the team managers, making sure everything is good. All the players, they have snacks in their player lounge. There's water.
Mm,
Got to make sure like lighting is like certain specification, enough practice court. There's just like so much more involved,
wow.
and it's different. For me, like umpiring is just like I just gotta worry about the court and the like immediate surroundings, right? But
Hmm.
like organizing is like every little detail you have to worry about. Like, oh, you gotta go in a stadium. Seats can't be white because then the shuttle will blend into the seats. Things like that.
That's true.
Like as an umpire, I'd be like, I gotta think about that. No, I'm just like worrying what's on court. But like, there's all these like little fine details that I don't think about usually that goes into it, stuff like that. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that list is so long. I forgot the first thing you said because it's so long.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And it's just like the ice, tip of the ice. There's just like so much more things in it. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And when there's a lot more people involved, it gets complicated.
Hmm.
It just occurred to me, right? Do you want to officially announce on the podcast where it's going to be this year for US Open?
Yeah, so it's gonna be back at CSU Fullerton, which is like 15 minutes away from Disneyland. So I hope a lot of players come, like then they go to Disneyland right after. So back in LA area, so where a lot of badminton fans are. So hopefully we get a full stadium again this year. Hopefully a lot of people can come out.
Yeah, definitely. It's going to be exciting. For the players that are listening, it's going to be next to Disneyland. So make sure you
Yeah.
book an extra 2 days afterwards to spend some time there. And but yeah, I think that's super exciting, especially in California. And there's beaches and palm trees. Yeah, just paint that picture for them. you know, and
Exactly,
we got
exactly.
really
Yeah.
nice In-N-Out burgers in California.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe the Chelsea podcast will put something together and just bring a bunch of In-N-Out burgers for everybody to try.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think that'll be
yeah,
fun.
yeah. Yeah, just
Yeah,
like
yeah,
go
definitely.
order in and out and just be like, try this. And because like, officials from around the world. And then one day we'll
Yeah.
organize like an in and out thing for them and everything. So it's great. It's great.
Oh, so you guys have that plan already?
Yeah, usually of course, man, like people, like umpires from other different parts of the world, like we gotta,
Uh-huh.
in and out's like a must, right? So we'll do
Yeah,
a day of in and out for them, just to try and everything. So yeah.
that's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Amazing. But yeah, players, make sure you guys go attend. It should be like a record number of people this year for sure. Just
Yeah.
to go to California.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, that'll be
Definitely.
super exciting. And obviously you've hosted the local tournaments, right? But
Mhm.
now like US Open as well. So what do you think was the biggest difference between these two?
Yeah, so local tournaments is more of like dealing with people. Like, there's a lot of like last minute requests or like parents and stuff. National tournament, like I said, it's like so much more different. There's like a lot more details that you got to pay attention to. Local tournaments is like you're already hosting it in like a gym that's already, there, right? Like, and so like there's a lot less work. It's just like all the prep to get the tournament scheduled and, get it running and kind of things. Like US Open, it's just like, you're in a non-badminton arena basically, and you got to make it badminton ready. So there's just like so much more involved in that compared to like I am in a badminton facility already, so that's already taken care of, kind of thing.
I see. I see. Yeah. And, obviously, running like US Open, you listed like this long list of things that you gotta like pay attention to, right? But in like the history of organizing this tournament, what thing has given you the biggest headache as an organizer?
Usually for us, it's the lighting because it's like a minimum of like 1,000 lux recommended for the TV courts and everything. And not
Mhm.
only that, you have to like even it out across the court because you don't want like one corner being too dark and then the center being too bright.
Yeah.
And usually, so we're staying late, trying to like calibrate the lights, to make it like even throughout the courts and and everything and like even across all the courts and all that. Usually that takes like a long time as well for us. So yeah, stuff like that.
Yeah. Wow. I didn't imagine like I didn't even think about that. The lights matter a lot, huh? Like
Oh
they
yeah,
have
yeah, yeah,
requirements
yeah.
for that and everything.
Yeah, because you don't want like, the back corner be like really dark and all of a sudden you're at the net and it's like super bright, like so you gotta like balance it out and everything. There's just like a lot that goes into it that, people don't know about that we have to figure out as well.
Yeah, definitely. It's quite complicated, I can tell.
Hmm.
So do you prefer umpiring or do you prefer organizing?
Both have its like pros and cons, like it's great that I get to organize in the US, but then like I also enjoy umpiring because I get to travel a lot more and everything. I mean, I like both. It's difficult to choose one or the other. Yeah, it's
Hmm.
difficult.
Yeah, definitely. And I feel like one of the toughest things about being an umpire, right? Like going back to that, is like making sure that you make a call right, right? That's
Hmm.
I feel like that's like the ultimate thing, right? In the end.
Yeah.
But have you ever made a call and you immediately knew it was wrong, but you had to like stand by it?
I mean, sometimes it's just like I don't know, like I'm wrong, but then sometimes it's just like a close net, and it's just like you kind of second think yourself. It's like, was it the shuttle, or because sometimes they swing so fast. It's like, is it the shuttle? Is it the
Yeah.
racket? And then there's like, can your eyes keep up? Things like that. That's where, like you
Mhm.
said, hopefully your service judge gets a good view as well, and then you confer and then you make a decision. But yeah, like I said, sometimes you have like a split second to make a decision. It gets difficult.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. And like, do crowds ever kind of like sway you? Because obviously the fans are going crazy, right, for
Oh
either
yeah,
side.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, but like I said, like our decision is comes within a second. So like obviously,
Mm,
the fans, might not be happy with it, but it's just like you see what you see, you don't call it unless you're like 110% sure that you see it.
right.
So it's kind of like, okay, I'm pretty sure that's exactly what I saw, so I made that decision right away and and then the fans will like boo you and everything, but there's no going back kind of thing. So yeah. Unless
Yeah,
you're like
yeah.
your servers just come over and like, okay, you saw wrong kind of thing, then okay. But otherwise, you're confident in what you saw, and that's why you make that call, kind of thing.
I see, I see. Yeah, I mean, it's quite difficult, right, for umpires to be able to make that decision in that split second. So, yeah, you guys need to have that confidence to make sure that, the players don't doubt that, right?
Yeah.
And, obviously there's many things that happen on a court because emotions run high, right? What is something that players do that instantly makes you lose respect for them on the court?
Sometimes, like some players will like kind of like argue just to argue, kind of thing. Like there's like no point,
No.
and then they like get too heated. You could tell like they're just arguing just cause, and to like gain their advantage rather than to like
Mm,
sportsmanship, kind of thing.
yeah, those moments get tough, right? Because yeah, it's hard to control. And but the great thing is you get to watch some of these matches, right? Like the one you mentioned, like the Kento Momoto match and things like that. Have you
Hmm.
ever been so locked into a rally that you almost forgot to call the score?
Yeah, yeah. Some of these rallies, like they get super, super intense, and it's like super fast too. And it's like you get into it, and then you're like smiling, enjoying the rally and everything. So it's really nice, and the crowd gets into it and everything. So you're like super into it. Yeah, it's great. It's
Yeah.
great.
In those moments, you're probably like breaking character, right?
Yeah, 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 yeah. But I mean, we're there to like enjoy the match a bit, right? We don't want to be like robotic, like
Yeah.
straight face all the time. So show some smile, enjoy you know,
Yeah.
being in the best seat basically.
Yeah. Yeah. Literally, like courtside is what
Yeah,
it is.
yeah, yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Mhm.
But yeah, what is something fans will be surprised to learn about umpiring wise?
Huh. Yeah, I don't know. Like some things I mentioned before, like our long days, our volunteering, we put in a lot of work, behind the scenes that people don't know about. They just see what's on like TV, we might make a wrong call and people get super passionate about it and think like, oh, we're biased and whatnot. But like I said, like we're not trying to be famous, for making a
Yeah.
wrong call. Right. Like we don't want to be like that. But so we put in a lot of work, behind the scenes as well. I watch a lot of matches, in my downtime, learn from other umpires and stuff like that. Go over the rules. Like we put in a lot of work that a lot of people don't see
Mhm.
behind the scenes, and we're not trying to make a mistake. Well, obviously, some people are like super passionate and they think like, oh, we're out for the player, we're out to get
Mhm.
them. We don't like them or something like that. And I don't think any of that is true. Like all of us are trying to like do our best, with what we have. And yeah.
Yeah, definitely. It's tough. And, not only do, obviously umpires get things wrong because they're human, but players get things wrong too, right?
Yeah.
So, what rule do you think players get wrong the most?
There's a lot of different rules. There's the net obstruction that people don't get about. What else is there? Yeah, there's just a lot of things that players don't know, especially nowadays. Like receiver has to get ready. with like the time clock when the server is ready. And then so
Mm.
sometimes the receiver thinks that they could use the 25 seconds, but it's no, whenever the server is ready, the receiver has to get ready within a reasonable amount of time too. So like we did like an event in Indonesia where they use the time clock, and almost every match, like you're constantly having to remind them like the server could use the 25 seconds. The receiver has to practically follow the speed of the server kind of thing. And it's just like things like that. Yeah.
Oh wow, that's a new thing that they're doing, right? Like a time clock.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Is that for sure now? Like it's like every tournament they're gonna have it, or it's just a test?
No, so they're still trying it out. It's getting feedback from the players and the umpires and everything, see how that goes. They used it fully in Indonesia. I think they're doing it again in the next Indonesia tournament. So yeah, it's something new, but I think it's good for everybody. There's more like consistency in umpiring. Like the players, they have a set time that, they can see, in between each rally how much they have and everything. So yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's almost like a shot clock for like
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
basketball, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But I would imagine like most players wouldn't want it, right? They just want more flexibility, just do whatever they want, right?
Yeah, yeah. Basically, that's what it gives you. It's like if you want to towel down or drink water, you could do like any of that without our
Oh, you
permission
could do
as a
that.
server. Yeah, as a server, you could
Oh
do
wow.
any of that. Spray yourself as long as you're ready to serve within the 25 seconds, basically.
Okay. Wow, that's
Yeah,
actually pretty cool.
yeah,
Yeah, I think it's actually quite important to make rule changes. I feel like when it comes
hmm
to sport, like
yeah,
even for a sport like basketball, which is very well established, they're constantly making rule changes, right? Like the take
hmm
foul or whatever it is, like just to make the game number one more controlled for the officials and for the players, but also make it more exciting to
yeah,
watch, right?
yeah, yeah.
For the audience. So I think it's crucial to make these changes. But if you could make one change in badminton, one rule change, what would it be?
I would like kind of get rid of intervals, maybe make it strategic, use timeouts or something. Maybe like less coaching
Mm,
as well, because now coaches can like coach after each rally. I think make the players think for themselves a bit more, and then like strategically maybe use a timeout, and then you could receive some coaching there. But then that would make the game a little more interesting in my sense that the player has to think for themselves rather than a coach
mhm.
can just feed them instructions after every point kind of thing. Yeah, that'd be interesting in my mind.
Wow, that's actually a really good point. That's the first time I heard something like that, like a suggestion like that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I think they tried to do something like that when they try to bring up the vote for 5 by 11 as part of that
Mhm.
package, but that didn't pass. So they kind of dropped that idea altogether. Yeah.
Oh, that's I actually really like that. Like, I think what it does is like the coaching aspect, right? Like being able to call timeouts. One thing is like you're able to run ads during the
Oh
timeout,
yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah,
From a
yeah,
TV
yeah,
point of view.
yeah,
And then so you can get ad revenue. And then the other thing is it requires the coaches to think more too. Like
yeah,
requires more skill as a coach,
yeah, yeah.
right?
Because it's more
When are you going to call a
strategic.
timeout?
Yeah.
When to break the momentum? Yeah,
Yeah.
it is
Exactly.
more
Exactly.
strategic. So I think
Yeah.
yeah, it's definitely a very good idea. I think they should reconsider like doing it again, putting it
Yeah.
up.
Definitely.
I think that'd
Yeah.
be really fun.
Yeah.
For sure, for sure. But yeah, as we're wrapping up this episode, if you could say one thing to every badminton player in the world, what would it be?
I would say like because as an official, we're never thanked. Like we're in the background. You'll never see. Oh yeah, that official made that great call. Thank your officials from the grassroots levels. We put in so much time. Like you know how it is at junior tournaments. We're there from like 8 a.m. to like 10 p.m. nonstop. Junior tournaments were always short of people and everything like that. So it's like, thank the officials. We're working really hard. We barely get breaks. Help out in your community if you can. Learn to umpire. Help out. Do everybody like for the junior tournament in the U.S. They're just getting bigger and bigger. More people were involved in like helping out and umpiring here and there. Take the load off of some people and then like learn the rules more. I think that helped the sport a lot more and everything. So yeah,
Yeah, definitely. That's a really good point. And I think like umpires are sometimes the most hardworking people in the tournaments, right? The people who has the largest workload.
yeah,
So I think it's important that, we stay grateful for the umpires putting in their time because really they're volunteers right now, right?
yeah.
So yeah, that's a really good point. And talking about being a BWF umpire, right? So if anybody who's watching wants to be a BWF umpire, what are the steps to do it?
So first you would like, if international viewers, you go to your national association, you start out, maybe in your region only, and then you slowly move up, to your national level, do some national tournaments, and then usually you go through the continental levels. For us, we go through Pan Am, couple levels of that, you get graded or you get tested each time. And then they see your encore performance. So you're like constantly evaluated and, you get put up to the next level and then you slowly keep going up until you like go for the top.
Yeah, there's a lot of checkpoints
Yeah.
you got to go through.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. People think, like, oh yeah, this guy's been doing this for like 2 or 3 years only, and no, I put in like over 10 years of work before I made it to the BWF level, so it's not an easy feat at all.
Yeah, definitely. BWF umpires have a lot of experience under the belt, right?
Yeah. Hmm.
So yeah, it takes a lot of effort. And I think once like the umpires start to be more like professionalized, like what they're trying to do now, I think eventually the fans will be able to recognize the umpires more, right? When they have a
Oh yeah.
consistent set of umpires. And at that point, the umpires will really start getting famous, and people start following them, like, oh, like, oh, this
Yeah, yeah,
umpire is
yeah.
umpiring this guy again, and whatnot. I think that'll be more fun, create more stories around the game. I
Actually,
think it
in
will help too.
Asia, sometimes I do get recognized. Like, I'll walk around the stadium
Oh
in
yeah?
like Indonesia or Malaysia, and then somebody will call out my name, and I'm just like, wait, like I don't know anybody here. Like, who's calling out my name? And then they'll ask for a photo and stuff. So it's cool. Like Indonesia, Malaysia, the big badminton countries. Yeah, we do get recognized there a bit.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Next time I see Kevin, you gotta sign an autograph for me. We're gonna take a picture and you can sign an autograph.
For
You can
sure.
sell
Yeah.
it for money. Yeah, that'd be awesome. Or
Mhm.
just keep it as a memorabilia. No,
Oh
you
yeah,
never
yeah,
know.
yeah,
That thing could
yeah, yeah.
be
Yeah.
crazy. Yeah, yeah, for sure. But yeah, that is the end for the questions. But we do want to do one fun game with
Okay.
Kevin. I know Kevin personally, so I know he loves his snacks. So we got a lineup of some of the most popular chips you can find in the US and just, I guess, around the world. So we're going to compare two chips next to each other, and you're going to pick the
Okay.
one that you like best. And we're going to end up with the last one. All right.
All right. All right. Sounds good.
All right. Here we go. First one, Lay's original or kettle cooked jalapeno chips?
Lay's original, hands down.
Oh, you like the original. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I need something
All
salty
right.
sometimes. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Lay's original or hot Cheetos?
I think I'll still go Lay's original. I'm not too big on hot
Really?
Cheetos. Yeah, 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 I'm not too big on hot Cheetos. I like spicy stuff, but I'm not too big on hot Cheetos.
Okay. Okay. Wow. That's big because hot Cheetos, I
Yeah,
don't
yeah,
know if people know around the
I
world,
know.
but
Yes, yeah. Hot Cheetos are big. I know, I know.
yeah. In the US, they're really big. Okay. Next one. Lay's original or Lay's sour cream and onion?
Lay's sour cream and onion.
Wow. Okay. Great. Lay's sour cream and onion or Takis?
Lay's sour cream and onion.
I assume if you pick that over hot Cheetos, Takis
Yeah,
probably
yeah,
be going out.
yeah.
Nice. Okay. Lay's sour cream and onions or Fritos?
I don't think there's many people that like Fritos. Honestly, Lay's
It's not
for sure.
bad.
Hands down. It's not bad, but like a lot of people don't choose Fritos. That's for sure.
Fritos has like a very strong corn taste and it's quite
Yeah.
crunchy. But okay, great. Wow, Lay's sour cream and onion is taking them down. All right. Lay's sour cream and onion or Doritos?
Right now, I've been craving more Doritos. So Doritos right now.
Okay, okay. You used to eat a lot of Doritos too.
Yeah,
Back
yeah,
then, I
yeah,
feel like.
yeah. Yeah.
Awesome, awesome. Okay. Doritos or Lay's barbecue chips?
Right now, Doritos. I had a period where it was the barbecue chips. Right now, it's Doritos.
Okay, okay. Which flavor of Doritos? Just curious.
Right now, I'm original. Sometimes I switch it up with the Cool Ranch. Yeah, but right now, original. Just the nacho cheese.
Oh, wow. You really like your originals.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Awesome, awesome. All right, next one. Doritos or Ruffles cheddar and sour cream?
That's a tough one. That's a tough one. Right now, it's Doritos, just barely. Just I don't know.
Doritos, okay.
I think it depends on my mood. But right now,
I see.
Doritos. Yeah.
Okay, right now Doritos. All right, now we're gonna get into some of the international chips. Doritos or Rose Tteokbokki flavored chips?
Those rose tteokbokki flavored chips, for sure. Like, I was eating them nonstop in Indonesia.
Really?
They put out a bag. I would take a couple. I take one right there. Within like a couple of minutes, they're gone.
Do you have them like stocked in your house?
I might have like 1 or 2 bag left from my Indonesia trip. That's about it. I don't think they're that easy to find in the US.
I see. Well, I mean, for the Indonesian fans that are watching, if you guys want Kevin to give your player some good coke, make sure you buy him some roast tteokbokki flavored chips. Imagine next time you go to Indonesia, you get like cartfuls of chips. That would be crazy.
Yeah,
Nah. That would be pretty cool. But yeah, next one, last one. Roast tteokbokki flavored chips or Canadian all dress?
I think right now the roast tteokbokki, because they're harder to get. The Canadian
Okay.
all dress is starting to be more in the US market. So probably the roast tteokbokki right now.
Okay. So roast tteokbokki flavored chips are the winner.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I really got to go try the Canadian all dress though. You made it sound really nice.
Yeah.
Dang.
You could easily get them at Safeway. Yeah, they're easy to get now in the US. So you should definitely try them out.
Okay. Yeah, after this podcast, I'm gonna go get some and see what the hype is all about.
All right. Sounds
But
good.
yeah, that is the end of the podcast for today. Thank you, Kevin, for coming on and giving us your time. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you, Tony, for having me. Great to be on. Let people know a bit about the umpire life. Hopefully some new umpires come get interested from this. So yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's truly special to, get the perspective from an umpire, right? Because that's a whole other side that we rarely get to hear from. So I think it's really special. And hopefully we get more umpires. So if you guys are watching this, if you want to be an umpire, you can reach out to Kevin. I'm sure she can help guide you.
Definitely.
Or anything like that. Or reach out to us. We can always connect you with the right people. So, but yeah, you guys have that resources to you guys. And thank you, Kevin, again, for giving us these insights. But yeah, that is the end of the podcast for today. Make sure you guys hit that like button and the subscribe button down below if you enjoyed today's episode. And make sure to follow us on our socials at the TLZ Podcast to stay updated on upcoming guests and highlights. All right. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.